It's the Newport This Week video podcast series. You can find it every week at newportthisweek.com and go ahead and subscribe to the Newport This Week YouTube channel. I'm Bill Bartholomew, and today we're talking about something that is definitely synonymous with Newport, not only from a tourism and historic standpoint, but I think just from an energetic standpoint, and that's the Preservation Society, specifically on page 3 of this week's paper, Chateau-sur-Mer goes underground for energy. In the latest component of an energy sustainable plan, John Pantalone writes, the Preservation Society of Newport County dug down to the subsurface water to install a geothermal energy system that'll keep Chateau-sur-Mer mansion warm in winter and cool in the summer. In the process, they'll save big money since the new system replaces an old oil heating infrastructure that used more than 300 gallons per week. I mean, that right there is in and of itself sticker shock, I'm sure, for a lot of people. Bill Tavares from the Preservation Society joins us. Bill, great to have you on. Where did the impetus for this transformation begin?
Well, it's a ongoing plan by the Preservation Society of Newport County. We started with the breakers in 2017, and it was such a successful project with the breakers, and basically it's driven by a couple of things. One, obviously saves money, it saves oil, it's very sustainable. But the other part of it is it's incredibly important because a lot of the delicate objects and textiles and everything else in those houses, the gilding, it gets really impacted by the location of these houses, which is by the water. Chateau-sur-Mer means castle by the sea, and the fluctuation in temperatures in the summer and the winter really just really wear out a lot of these houses. And so by putting the systems in, you're basically establishing a constant temperature, a constant humidity level. It's just really makes a really incredibly positive impact. I mean, Chateau-sur-Mer was built in 1852. It's 38,000 square feet. It's a lot. There's a lot in there that needs to be protected, and this geothermal system, the difference it's made, you'd almost have to go back and walk through Chateau-sur-Mer in the summertime or the wintertime to get a real feel for the impact. It just feels drier. The climate is so much more, acceptable, I guess. And so visitors might think, oh, well, this is great. It's almost like having air conditioning, but that's an ancillary benefit. Really, what it's about is protecting a lot of these precious objects in these different houses.
Right. And the installation of it is also something that goes into the protection and preservation conversation in the article. Uh, it is stated by John that making the modern transition to a cleaner energy system required a great deal of planning and care to make sure none of the mansion's historic character would be disturbed. Looking at it from the outside, you would never know that miles of plastic tubing reach down 45 feet to 21 wells underground on the south side of the house, and all the plastic piping systems travels 4 miles from the wells into the house and throughout
Yeah,
its innards.
it's incredible. I mean, it starts with them having to drill. You're taking these 21 pipes, and you have to drill through 2 feet of granite foundation 21 times just to get the process started. And then, we have, our conservation team, chief conservator is Patty Miller. She was there every step of the way to determine, okay, as these people that were working on this project, we're starting to determine, okay, where can we put this? Where can we put that? We need to put it here. How can we do it? She was there. The conservation team was there to sort of step by step determine, okay, well, if we have to, this would be an area where we could cut. So for example, in the dining room, there's a square piece that's cut in the floor. It's beautiful flooring, beautiful woodwork, but it's sort of, you almost have to make a little nick in it, little cut in it, put the vent in, and the benefit for what's left is going to be, so much more beneficial than not cutting that floor. And what you get is you don't even see it because where it's placed is not some place where a visitor is going to be looking at it. But the benefit of it in that particular room, uh, the Chateau-sur-Mer has two rooms that are have complete Fellini woodwork. Fellini was a legendary Italian sculptor of wood. There's no other place in the country that has one room of complete Fellini work. So, that's among the things in that dining room that really are precious that need to be preserved. That's where the benefits of geothermal come in and work like that. Patty and her staff worked really closely with our properties director, Mike Tabor, to determine, okay, what can we do? Where can we cut? How do we cut? And all that stuff's been saved in case we have to go back and put it back at some other point.
Right. This came from a Department of Energy credit, it looks like, and it extends beyond just an effort to reduce fossil fuel consumption, but also from a preservation standpoint. Are there any other similar projects in the work for other properties using these
Well, we're
credits?
looking at Marble House next. That's something that will be on the table, and we're exploring it. We've actually done four properties: the Breakers, Chepstow, the Berwyn Stoutberg Scholar Center at the Elms, and now Chateau-sur-Mer. So the next house will be Marble House. I mean, that's the plan right now. Just trying to determine how that will work. And again, this is something that it just takes some time. We've learned a lot from the breakers and these other projects. But the benefit, it's really it's like night and day. I would encourage anybody that goes to the Marble House right now just to kind of feel what it's like to be in there. And then if you come back again after the geothermal's there, just take note of it because it's a better climate for human visitors, but that's the benefit. That's a side benefit. What it's doing for the properties themselves is pretty incredible.
Yes. Kind of lastly here, just sort of an overall look at what's happening with the preservation of society right now. And, this project these are the type of sub rosa things, actually, quite literally, because it's in the
Yeah.
trench of the ground, but so much happens behind the scenes. What's happening in terms of in the public's view, any programming that's coming up this winter?
Well, before I get to that, there is the lifting the curtain behind the scenes of museum work is a general program that has a lot of this kind of opportunity to see what we're doing. There is a tour. We did one already, but there's another tour February 26th that will allow people to go and walk through I think it's all five floors. I've done it twice, walk through with the properties director, but it really gives you a feel for like the amount of work that goes on. And I would encourage anybody that is interested in looking at some of the other programs. Again, this lifting the curtains behind the scenes of the museum work. There's a lot of like programming that's going to be attached with that, similar to that behind the scenes with the geothermal. We have a symposium coming up April 3rd that's going to examine the influence of, the Italian influence in Gilded Age Newport. And then we're launching an exhibition May 30th on Richard Morris Hunt, the architect. And then the flower show is set for June 20th. It opens June 20th through the 22nd at Rosecliff. So there's a lot going on. It's every year at this time, you're looking at this big wave of activity that's going to be coming your way. And there will be a lot going on. Right now we also have winter children's programming. So if you go to newportmansions.org, you'll see all the programming there.
That's your call to action. And also newportthisweek.com always has coverage. Pick up the
Yes.
paper. There's lots to talk about when it comes to the Preservation Society. Bill Tavares, thanks so much for your time today and kind of explaining a little bit behind the scenes on this major infrastructure and frankly preservation project that's taken place.
Thanks, Bill. I appreciate you having me on.